is so much that changes as we age. The physical and emotional changes, the changes in relationships, the changes in our mental abilities, and also the spiritual. Our spiritual lives change in the later years. Even our taste buds change. Not just our taste buds for that food that nourishes our body, but also those spiritual things. Our taste changes. What satisfied us at one time, we might find doesn't satisfy us anymore. In our later years, our prayers change. How we meditate changes. How we contemplate changes.
I was asked by the retirement community that California Lutheran Homes is a part of to come up with sort of an article about spirituality and aging. And when they asked me to do that, I thought, it feels like they're asking me for the silver bullet. The sort of spirituality thing that if everybody does that, everything will be wonderful and fine, and all aging problems will be solved. And we know that silver bullet doesn't exist. But as I was thinking about it, I thought, but I do think that there are some spiritual practices that if we begin practicing them before we hit 85, we may be able to hit 85 with the modicum of grace. And the practices I came up with were really kind of for me. Because as I observed older adults in a retirement community setting, I noticed that some of them aged very gracefully and were the kinds of people that other people enjoyed and wanted to hang out with. And then some of them didn't age quite so gracefully.
We all know that our health and safety and all other physical comforts are gifts. Gifts of some sort that we cannot simply take for granted, as if we own them and can control all of the circumstances surrounding our lives. And yet, until we are brought low, personally or vicariously, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, we too often seem to live our own lives rather ignorant of this truth. When we are younger and more virile, we easily avoid this truth of our lives, that we are not truly in control. And I see that with this avoidance, we also tend to have an easy lack of commitment and attention to our spiritual development as well.
We are called upon to develop a mature spirituality. That, after all, is what this whole Martin de Porres Center is about. Mature spirituality. So that's really the theme of what I want to talk about. The other thing I want to say, and I was very glad that Tina mentioned that I have retired this year, just a few months ago, from AARP. Somebody said that when you retire, you go from who's who to who's he. And that's another way of saying something which Emily Dickinson said also. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? That's really what I'm here to talk about. Ram Dass, a great contemporary spiritual teacher, said to us 20 years ago at a conference, he said, aging is the school of nobodiness. We have to learn to go to school to become nobody. Well, fortunately, there's some good texts that we can use. And many of them are actually medieval. This is an image of the human life course, and you see all the stages of life are equal. They're in a circle, and at the center of the circle is the image of Christ. This is very different from our contemporary image of life, which, as we know, begins to the left and goes up to that peak, and then goes down to the right. This happens to be one for women. There's a comparable one for men. For better or for worse, we're all on the same trajectory.